Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another PBIS PD. This one focuses on student safety in the classroom. Before I get into the actual PD itself, I do want to say that as you heard on the announcements and as you've seen in emails, we are getting back onto some Mindful Mondays. These Mindful Mondays will focus on some of the CASEL competencies and there'll be read alouds in order to do so. This is in response to some feedback we received on making sure there are different ways to teach the different CASEL competencies. So this is just one additional tool that we can give you. This was done based upon the feedback we got from our last PBIS PD. So thank you so much for that and allowing us the opportunity to brainstorm. So like I said, this is on student safety. There are some goals of safety in the classroom. Some of these goals are knowing your students personally on an individual level, showing empathy to student need, celebrating success, showing care for continued development, and developing an atmosphere of trust in classroom and physical safety. So, getting into them each a little bit more, knowing your students personally on an individual level, we need to be mindful of their sensory needs. So, if things are too loud, if they are averse to certain types of videos, or if sometimes if they're wearing a shirt that could be a little itchy, they might have a different response to different things just because their senses are on overload. Make sure we take an interest in their lives, ask them questions, and then make sure we're also looking at behavior sometimes as survival strategies. Sometimes students have learned behaviors in order to survive, and we need to keep this in mind. Celebrating student success and showing care for continued development. This impacts student memory, learning, motivation, and other cognitive functions. It is the driver behind student self-esteem and creating a positive classroom culture. Some options are a student success wall, so having a wall posted with different student successes, sending home postcards, letters, or notes home, creating celebration tunnels, doing a call home, or private verbal praise. And I think that private verbal praise is really important because sometimes students don't like to be called out in front of the classroom, even when they're doing really well. So we have to keep that in mind and make sure that we are not inadvertently causing more behaviors because we're doing something that makes them uncomfortable. We want to develop an atmosphere of trust in the classroom and in physical safety, creating that strong rapport with students through the ways we talked about, developing that classroom community. You take that time during morning meeting every day, but building it throughout your day, setting clear expectations when it comes to respect and treatment of others, and being consistent with them. That's really important as the consistency piece. And then creating cross-plot projects to team building activities that they can do together in order to build that classroom community. Show empathy to student need. We want to give grace to students. We need to say yes to water and snacks. If a student is hungry, they might be having behaviors. If they're thirsty, they might be having behaviors. Now, we all have our own rules in our classroom in regards to these things, and it is important to not just do it because the student says they need it, but making sure they do need it. But it is important to keep that in mind that they might need it. We want to be proactive. So instead of reacting to the behavior, we want to be proactive to the student need and allowing a space to talk about topics that the students want to talk about. Give them the space to know that this is a fun place to be and we want to be here and talk about all those different things. And then on our final slide here, there are some back pocket words and phrases for establishing trust, for addressing unhelpful actions, removing a power struggle, communicating when students dysregulated, for giving encouragement, for building capacity, and for taking responsibility. I will print this and they will be copies in the different mail rooms for you to grab if you would like them. But this is just a great resource for yourself. If you find yourself, what else can I say to help this child? And then last but not least, of course, please make sure you fill out the Google form. Make sure you give us feedback. We always want to know how we can improve and help you guys in your classroom.